My name is Jan Sioanu and I'm the Audience Development Curator here at the New Art Gallery in Warsaw. More or less organize events and projects that aim to bring into the gallery as many people as possible and engage with these segments of society and with community groups that have been traditionally kind of perceived not to visit art galleries or other cultural venues. And initial research showed years ago that each community group wanted something for themselves, for their own culture and traditions. So the Hindus wanted something for Diwali, the Sikhs for Vaisakhi, and so on and so forth. And now we're moving towards much more of a community cohesion sort of approach. But the gallery has a strong kind of commitment of engaging in a strong cultural engagement agenda that we want to follow.
The barriers are quite many. There is, within the Muslim community, I dare say in other communities, ethnic minorities, there needs to be a greater understanding of what the art means to young people. Certainly within the Asian communities, perhaps art isn't as appreciated or as valued as much as it should be, and this can trickle down into negativity towards aspiring young artists, and this is something we need to work at trying to counteract.
Maybe Hindu and Sikh community, there's always a reluctance about going into a gallery, thinking, oh, it's not a place for us.
It has been there have been quite a few challenges the last few years, but not as hard as we thought they were going to be. The biggest challenges was kind of perceptions and our own perceptions as individuals. And I've learned quite a lot working with a group of community leaders that we have here, the Contemporary Asian Arts Group, and the different kind of community leaders that I have worked with. I've learned quite a lot, and one of the biggest things that I've learned is not to make assumptions of what people like, of what people wouldn't like, not to make assumptions of what people might be offended by, and some and not. And it's kind of, you have, sometimes we're dealing with contemporary art and contemporary artists, and in a way kind of some of them deal with really kind of sensitive issues, and we're kind of worried in case we would get some reaction from different religions and faiths, faith leaders in particular. But we never did, because we had kind of established a really good communication links with them. So the biggest challenge is to, in a way, listen, learn, and give ownership as well to these community groups, to these individuals who come and work for the gallery, and kind of provide the link between the gallery and what we do and the community out there.
The response to the festival programme linked to the gallery has been incredibly positive. I think the community have really recognised the amount of time, energy and thought put into a real mixture of different programmes. It helps them feel part of this building and feel part of what's going on in the community, and feel, I think, a real nice shared approach to what this community in Warsaw is all about. And also they come along to this building and then they come up and see the work here. So again, it's about hitting two birds with one stone. So it's really positive. I think the gallery is doing some fantastic things.
It's been nothing short of phenomenal. We have been running the annual Salam and Festival of Islamic Arts here now for 5 years. Year upon year we've had audiences of up to 3,000, 3,500 people turn up. And not just exclusively from Walsall, throughout the West Midlands. And we've also had the pleasure of hosting international artists here too. We've had the likes of Dawood Warsby Ali and Idris Phillips come in specifically for the Salam Festival, as well as more unusual arts like Malaysian gamelan material.
The response from the community has been quite promising. We've had in the region of between 1,500 to 2,000 people coming to our events. The events have now become an annual event. Rather than, oh, the gallery is putting on something, it's when are you putting it on, and what date are you putting it on. And I get approached quite often now in the street and saying, oh, I love that event you did last year, are you doing it again this year?
Over the years, we have been working with separately on separate events with loads of different individuals that kind of represented, or that were community champions that represented their communities. They were really well known, and they kind of, you know, they were the messengers for the gallery out there. So at some point we realized that we have all these individuals to bring them together, so to sit around the table and start working and programming events that will have a much bigger appeal, a much more kind of, you know, a cross-cultural appeal, and will bring kind of, you know, has a much more of community cohesion element to it. So a couple of years ago we decided to bring them all together, what we call the Contemporary Asian Arts Group, and enable them to kind of work on such projects that will have such an appeal, that will celebrate the diversity of Walsall, the diversity of the Midlands, and kind of provide them with the resources necessary to achieve such community cohesion initiatives. So that's the whole idea, and the beautiful thing about it is kind of how the group kind of, you know, bonded. The success of the cultural engagement events such as Diwali, Vaisakhi, the Islamic Arts Festival, ISLAM, most recently the community exhibition, and so on and so forth, have enabled us and kind of have helped us to focus much more on audiences. So in a way, nowadays when we program exhibitions, audiences feature much more heavily within our kind of criteria, in terms of kind of, will they appeal to people from cultural backgrounds and so on and so forth. So we have been, especially when we do group shows, when we're considering group shows, such as the party exhibition upstairs, we always try to kind of have an element that will appeal to our audiences here. And we work with artists who come from cultural diverse backgrounds themselves. But we don't program just that's not the only reason why we program these artists or their artworks. Again, the quality of the work is of really important. It's not a tokenist thing that we're doing, and I can't stress this. We program on the basis of the quality of the work, and it happens, and it's the beautiful kind of thing that in this time and age, that loads of artists nowadays who come from culturally diverse backgrounds, they produce high standard, beautiful art out there that enable us to kind of, bring them into what we do in the gallery.